Honestly, I'm nervous. It's the third time I started to record again. And I don't have a lot of time to talk about this. I do need to go to work. But if not, I'll find out and I'll make the video again. That's just how it goes. I can't, I can't. I did get like a light. It is kind of good, but I don't know what I feel about it. Because see, it has these three options. But the white one might be good. I don't know if it's too white and I can't see myself. I'm blind. Now, officially welcome to the fourth. Can you even believe that fourth episode of the highest Sesh? Today, as you saw in the title, for me personally, it feels like a really big, important, and heavy subject. Because as you saw, we're talking about possession, we're talking about ownership, and we're also talking about stewardship. Understand that the reason why I do desire to speak upon this is not only to make you understand, to give you a perspective, and to also help you, follow a path, and have a journey where it's peaceful and you have the accessibility to find your own happiness a bit more easier each time. The more time goes by and the more you get to meet yourself. But this heaviness in this specific subject itself, or a specific video, did give me it did showed me a bit of fear I carry with it. And of course, I researched it, I structured it, and I try to understand it in a way that it's actually helpful and I actually know what I'm trying to speak on, right? But the reason and the main thing that inspired this specific subject about possession, ownership, and stewardship was because, at least from my perspective and my life experience, and I assume the collective also were, if you aligned, you aligned. Of course, from your perspective, I'm a reflection of you, but I'm not the source of the reflection, okay? Now, remember that from my experience, or from a lot of people's experience, to maintain a systematic control or to maintain a regulated population, but depending with what intentions people are trying to, control the population. A way the system maintains a certain vibrancy or timeline in a certain frequency, in a certain way of thinking, certain way of acting, certain way of seeing the world, yada yada yada. It's by spreading information in a propaganda style. If you know what propaganda is, it's like, imagine you're gossiping, but the gossip will go from each ear to each ear to each ear until the full gossip, the whole message, it's not even right anymore. It's not original. The first person who started to talk about it, by the end of the other person, after all the people that it went through, all the people that listened to the message, to that other person, that won't be neither the same message, same intention, same thoughts, same experience. So when the system takes a population, and starts teaching them education from, I'm gonna take that as confirmation, propaganda type way, you get misinformation, you get confused, and you get guided incorrectly. I'll stop right here. Let's go on to possession. Why do I want to speak on possession also? If you don't understand what possession means, possession equals to the temporary control, the temporary hold over anything. This is why I stopped myself. Because in a propaganda type education, right? To possession, it would mean you temporarily own something. You temporarily have control over something. You temporarily have possession, ownership. You have temporary access to it, right? Temporary. I'm renting a house, right? It's not my house, but I'm renting it. So that means temporarily it's in my possession. And now if I jump to ownership, which is the legitimately ownership, control, choice over something. I am the legitimate owner. Meaning, you are living in the house, but I am the owner of the house because I am renting it to you. I have a paper that is saying I am the owner of the house no matter if I'm not living in it. Not temporarily. You're official owner. You're the official owner. You can do whatever you want. You can destroy, you can create it, you can have control, you can guide it, you can do anything you desire with whatever you're owning. Possession is temporarily, but you're still possessing it. Ownership is owning something. And because I started to write the paper, and the first thing I started to write about in this paper was only about possession and ownership and the differences. You know, how people perceive each and both, and how would you differentiate them. But I got stuck on it. I couldn't write anymore. I couldn't focus on the paper, so I just had to jump to the next project. But the last thing I wrote on the notebook was, when I was talking about ownership, was, do we even get to own anything? Does owning something, is ownership even a real thing? Why am I saying this, and why am I even asking this question? You can have the belief, the perception, the understanding that you might own a house. You can do whatever you desire, but wouldn't it also be temporarily? Possession is temporarily, but it will mean a shorter amount of time. Owning something will require the same thing. Possessing something just for a longer amount of time. Because yes, you can have a paper that says this house is yours, you own it, you can throw the people you're renting it to out, you can destroy the house, you can update it, you can do anything you desire with it, you're the owner. But that house ends up outliving you. You end up dying. So are you, what? The paper is gonna keep telling me that you're the legitimate owner of the house when literally the house outlived you? You're not even alive anymore? You're telling me you own your body when you keep aging and you have no control over your age? over the way your body grows, over the way your body expands. You own your body, right? But it leaves you. I mean, it doesn't even leave you. It gets stuck here. You own your body, but you don't even take your body with you. So you don't even own the body you're living in. You don't own the things you create. They're out of your hands now. You don't own anything. And if the thing you are perceiving that you have ownership on ends up outliving you, you end up outliving it. It gets destroyed. The source that is telling you that you own something gets destroyed. What does real ownership mean? And is real ownership a real thing? And is ownership just like an illusion we all agree to follow? And this is where I start to mention authority figures. Teachers, parents, guiding counselors, therapists, system, government, politics, any authority figure, any outside source of guidance, of perceived control over us, perceived power over us. Why am I adding or talking about any source of authority figure? And why am I talking about possession, ownership, and now why I'm mentioning stewardship? Because if you come to understand that not even parents own their kids, because no matter if you created them, they're being entrusted with the child. The child doesn't even own itself. What makes you think you own the child? Do you understand what I'm trying to explain with this? Because the difference between owning something and stewardship, ownership and stewardship, is that owning something comes from control, power, and making something be stuck in its place. Whatever that authority figure perceives its surroundings, right? Well, stewardship comes from the understanding that everything moves. You cannot keep everything in its place. Stewardship comes from understanding that everything passes through you, everything is temporary. You never truly own anything because you have no control over anything or no power over anything. And when you have accessibility to power and control, it has to come from the understanding that is something you embody, not something you own. It's something you have access to. Because if people say your life can change in a second, everything can be taken away from you, everything can be given to you, it doesn't matter. Stewardship comes from taking responsibility and care over what you have temporary access to. Not control or power. Because while control and power are tools that need to come from guidance, because an authority figure already understands that it has control and power. So if an authority figure is not even aware why it's guiding, where is it guiding to, and why is it even guiding in the first place, and it's guiding you to a perceived timeline that in their eyes is highest, and their perspective is based on ownership, control, and power, and they lack responsibility. They lack accountability. They lack they lack they have a lack mentality. And it's so weird because if you let anything outside of you, whether that be an authority figure, society, system, political belief system, religion, even your own thoughts that you're not realizing are harming you, and they have that power over the choice, over your actions that you want and desire to do, that already counts as an energetic system control to guide you and keep you in a specific frequency, in a specific vibration, in a specific timeline where you still believe in ownership. You still believe there's a system that has power over you, power over your decisions, power or control. And you feel when a guide doesn't come from stewardship and it comes from comes from the belief of I need to guide you to here instead of I need you to guide you where you desire to go. And while there's nothing wrong with power and control, stewardship understands that it has access to all of that and still chooses responsibility and care. Because if you're not discerning with where you're receiving information, how you're receiving information, from who, no matter who is it or what they're saying about wherever you're getting everything, right? The information, the data, the guidance, the inspiration. You tend to create resentment to what's guiding you because, as I said in the other video, you kept being enforced information and data over something that you don't want to act upon. It doesn't feel good, but it's perceived to guide you to where you think you desire to go. Because if the authority figure is not aware why they're guiding, where they're guiding you to, and why they're even a guide in the first place, and your discernment, you haven't trained your discernment to separate true guides and true authority figures, you tend to follow a certain path that you do not desire to go. And then you start creating resentment over the path. And then you end up blaming yourself. And while yes, look upon yourself, take accountability, you're still saying yes to what you do not desire to do. Control is power over somebody is dangerous when it comes from ownership. And if you don't understand that owning is just an illusion, it just means that you get to possess something for a longer period of time, you lose what maintains you grounded, which is forgiveness, empathy, patience and grace. You're taking a whole lot of people with you down to the fire pit. You know what I mean? They're not teaching nowadays awareness. They're not teaching thought. Like, they have us so regulated in every way to their perceived way of regulation, not our perceived way of regulation. Understand that first. Any sort of regulation, any sort of guidance, any sort of opinion, advice, see how you're feeling while you're listening to it. Because there's a lot more people that are informed in a gossipy propaganda type way than them doing the research, them having daily thoughts, thinking in a conscious, willingful way, and the thoughts are on autopilot, their actions are on autopilot. Everything is an autopilot, meaning you don't have to keep an eye on it. You don't have to see it. You don't have to be aware of it. It's just functioning. It's just working. That's the perspective they need you to have. You need this to be happy. You need this to maintain yourself regulated. You need to act, look, and dress based on this. And you're gonna have this life. You just need to do this things and learn this. If you're not aware of the guidance or where you're receiving the guidance, without them being aware, somebody already built your whole life and you weren't even part of the building, of the choosing, or the perception and responsibility over the choices that you could have made to manifest something completely different. Just because you didn't question, you settled, you shut up, you sat down. I do need to go, but just understand that at the end of the day, we don't own anything, but the only thing that you currently have access to is the decisions you make and how responsible you are with them and how caring you are with them. Because a person who treats the world shitty because of ownership, who destroys Mother Earth, who destroys nature, who destroys the ocean, who kills kids, who kills women, who kills people, who destroys humanity, who lower our vibration, whatever is representing that and is harming us based on a collective perception of ownership, control, and power in the incorrect way, is harming us more than we are aware. They're gonna copyright me. Get out! Point is, they're gonna copyright me. Pero whatever. If they copyright me, it's fine. It's just, I need to share this and I need to leave. Listen, the only access, responsibility, control, or power that you have in this current moment, with the correct understanding of power and control, as something that you have access to and not something you own, and be aware of what you have power and control and how you use it, and how there's things you can control and have power of, like example, people, human beings, animals, or anything that literally is not meant to be controlled or have power on. Power and control comes from responsibility. Having responsibility on the power you hold, and accountability or on how you choose to use it. I guess that's all. Just understand, people who treat the world shitty, Mother Earth shitty, throw trash and do everything to hurt, are going through a worse process than you inside. All that shittiness they're putting out in the universe is just their own shitty feelings, even if it comes from authority figures. Why are they guiding? What are they guiding? Okay, why are they guiding you? What are they guiding you on, and where are they guiding you? And from what perspective? A person who treats itself bad would treat anything outside bad. That's all. I'll see if it's worth it. I need to leave. I need to go to work. Wish me luck, and we'll see when I see the video if it was worth it all. Bye bye.